mid-90s right here for a second. That's okay. That's okay. Here we go. And now, you're starting off your class 24 Pride Booster Club Banquet. Guest speakers, the pride of the rest of Louisiana, the resident rifle number 30, Scotty Thurman. He's got the best name in all of basketball. Big Nasty. Williamson Scotty, she did one job. He's a coach. I'm crying out loud. We look, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Guys, y'all look a year older than 1994. How long what are you doing? Look at these guys.
Prayer.
Looking great, man. Hey, welcome, guys. Coach, welcome to Corning, Arkansas. We really appreciate y'all being here. I'm going to go through just a few. I'm going to get y'all bear with me on this, okay? But first, here's what I want y'all to do. I'm going to go one at a time. We'll start with Corliss, the closest. Give us an update. What's going on in your life right now? What you're doing, maybe family life, stuff of that nature.
So I'm currently coaching the Minnesota Timberwolves. The youngest son just graduated high school, so my wife and I are empty nesters, so we're definitely looking forward to that new phase of life. I have 3 sons, they're 19, 20, 21, and 29 this month. 2 more days at birthdays. I have 4 beautiful sons, beautiful wife, and just in the off-season now, I'm enjoying being back home.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach Scott.
Two kids, one who just turned 30 today, that works at the University of Arkansas, also is a student athlete there for the football team. And then I also have a daughter who plays volleyball, that is now, she went to North Carolina, just got out of high school, she's great at the state. And so now she's a Razorback, so we're celebrating that.
Speaking of family, there's a guy back home right now, a young man that couldn't be here. Mr. Cannon Singh, good friend of ours here in Corning. Also a good friend. He wanted me to mention that he's sorry he couldn't be here, but he wants to tell y'all something. This is from his mouth. He loves Corning, Arkansas. He loves you guys, and he loves his Razorbacks. You two especially. He wanted to make sure we got the camera on, so I want to make sure I get that in there. Okay, let's get Cannon a round of applause. We can go one at a time here. Let's go first. I always like to know when dealing with some folks that have done such great things that you guys have in your careers. Amazing the things you all accomplished. What started that for you? Where did the passion begin for basketball for you guys?
Well, for me, it started when I was probably 5 or 6 years old. My father played basketball at Grambling State University. And so he would always try to get me to do work around the house, like folding clothes. And so I would fold up socks and shoot in the clothes basket down on shore. And so I just kind of got attached to the game. And as I grew older, I had an older brother that I followed around quite a bit. He was 3 years older than I was. And so I followed him, got an opportunity to get beat up and get taught at the same time. And so that's kind of where that came from. Yeah, for me, I played basketball. I guess I started in 2nd grade or so. I played every sport, but just seeing the gravity towards basketball. My neighborhood, that's what everybody wanted to play was basketball. They played football and stuff, but on the weekends everybody played basketball, and I just kind of
developed a love for the game in that sense, and
I always want to know too, at an early age, we all have someone that influences our life and puts us in that right direction, maybe when we're not in there. Who was y'all's role models at an early age?
for me, it started at home. I think me and Scotty we come from the same type of background. We had good, strong parents at home who set an example, held us to a standard growing up. So just watching them, and each one of them had their own path to becoming a parent, and just, especially now that I'm older, I have a chance to really understand what it took for them to come together, to keep our family together, to raise me, and just watching them growing up, I've always tried to pattern my life after them.
It was definitely not my father. My father was 7 days on, 7 days off in the oil field. And my mother was a social worker, so she worked 2 jobs mainly. Whether that was with Arthur Gas, or Kmart, we got another Kmart. But she was also a social worker, so I had the opportunity to go into a lot of broken homes and see a lot of different things. That exposure is what kind of, along with that work ethic, is what kind of kept me driven and focused on what I was doing.
I like that. Now, you guys got two fantastic nicknames. We've got the Rustin Rifle over there from Rustin Losing, and we got Big Nasty. I've got to know, some of you already know, when and how did those nicknames come about? You don't know.
So Big Nasty, I got the nickname when I was 13 years old. I have a relative of mine, his name's Clarence Henry. One of the big influences on my life in the realm of basketball and off the court as well. But he was coaching me in AAU, and that's just kind of how he wanted me to play. Practice, you got to get out there, you got to be big and nasty, you got to get rebounds and do these type of things. So my teammates started calling me that, and lo and behold, the nickname follows me through high school. And all it takes is Dick Vitale blurted out on ESPN one time. And from that point on, everyone around the nation knew it was Big Nasty.
I really have no clue how I got the rifle. I just remember holding up the Democratic State one day. I think we had been, I think it was Missouri, and I had a big game. Of course, was out early, and so I just remember with the Banquet, they had Rustin rifle, and it just kind of took off from there.
Hey,
Big Baby was going to shoot.
Hey, Scotty, listen, now my wife is a Mizzou graduate. What was the score of that game? Do you remember?
Well, the game you're talking about, I think, was the year we opened up the
on the radio. What was this? Oh, we won by 50.
Yeah, about 50.
Sorry, I couldn't remember. Hey, looking good tonight. Looking good tonight. I'm really getting this. This is on. Hey, tell me a little bit about y'all's high school careers. Obviously, Russellville, Rustin, any memorable games, cool moments back in y'all's high school careers that you're not going through?
Well, yeah, I had quite a few memorable games in high school. I was fortunate enough to play varsity as a freshman. And so my brother, who I mentioned earlier, I followed him around. So it was kind of his team to start the team. And so he wound up having an accident that kind of curtailed his career. So we get the opportunity to play like the first 12 or 13 game. And so I got the opportunity to start, lead the team and score one very good. And so my brother came back, and I went from starting to not really playing very much because he was kind of the main guy. And so for me, that was my first bout with adversity in terms of not playing as much as I thought I should. And so I got the opportunity one big game to play with the 20. It was against McKinley out of Baton Rouge in the state playoffs. And we were playing the game at Louisiana Tech. There was about 5,000 to 6,000 fans there, and the whole crowd started screaming, "We want Scotty." So the coach put me in the third quarter, so I could maybe 23 left. And I helped us come back, cut the lead to 2 after being down 20. Still lost the game. But the coach of the other team kind of gave me some confidence after the game, just telling me he thought I had a chance to be a really good player. So that gave me a lot of confidence.
Wow, high school. It's a long time ago.
A few years ago. You had hair back then, guys.
I did. There's a couple games that kind of stick out in my mind. Each one was different. I think my very first game in high school, I think we were playing against North Carolina Northeast. That's what I talked about. me playing AAU basketball. And, the team I was on, there was always this other team that was like a year older than us. So they would always beat up on our team, right? We were young guys, and they rough us up, and we never could beat them. So finally, I finally get to high school. It's my first game at home. I get out to go out and play, and I look over there, it's going to look like with these guys that I've been playing against, all my youth, and they from like 5th grade on up to 9th. So I finally, it's kind of one of those moments where you think you do, but you kind of realize what you're capable of doing. So that game, I had like a really good game. So I would come down and I'd dunk on somebody, and it was full in the gym. We got people on the stage and the end zone. So I would run through and I would give them high five and stuff and run down the court. So the next day, I think that was on a Friday, so we come back to school on Monday, and we're having a film session. And so we're watching the film, right? I don't think Coach realized what was going on during the game. So, we're watching the film, and you see me high-fiving people in the stands, and free throws falling down and stuff. And he stops the film and says, "Son, we're not going to do that around here. We don't play Holy Ghost basketball." But it kind of helped me put things in perspective. He didn't know the backstory to it, but it kind of helped me bring myself down to earth and understand you can still go out there and be a good basketball player, but not have to show people up. So I really appreciate that lesson I learned in that first game.
I like that. Holy Ghost basketball. Coach, we'll use that this year at some point. All right, so obviously through your high school career, you obviously both pretty high prestige players. What all offers did you guys get, and ultimately why did you choose all these?
Well, I'll go first, I guess. Coming out of high school, my offers were, I had quite a few, but my father didn't really like leaving schools on, so he told me I needed to hurry up and I got my top 5 pretty quickly. And so my top 5 was Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Stanford, and Pittsburgh. And so I wound up obviously completing Arkansas after coming back to Pittsburgh and freezing to death. And so I knew that I didn't want to go there. It was quite a ways from home. Texas, Coach Riss is responsible for talking about and telling my business in Texas. He was just like, "Oh, they never beat me anything." So that kind of mindset. And then Oklahoma, when I took a visit to Oklahoma, my 2 hosts, they got arrested. And so my mother was kind of like, "I don't think I'm going to go there." And so Coach Riss calls me late one night, and back then I'm the youngest of 4. And so my mother, because I had 2 other brothers, we shared a phone in our room, which was a big deal back then, having your own personal line. So Coach Riss called me, and it was like 11 at night, and he was telling me about all this school, like, who are you considering? I'm like, "OU." He was like, "Bill Tubbs? He wants to play just like I do. He can't do it like me." Okay, Coach. He's like, "Where else?" I'm like, "Pittsburgh." He's like, "You want to go up there and walk the ball on the floor?" I was like, "It's not, Coach." He's like, "Where else?" I said, "Texas." He's like, "Texas? Tell me finish trying to do everything that I do." And so you see how that gets them, I beat them every time. So I'm like, "Okay, Coach." And he said, "Well, so what are you thinking now?" I'm like, "Coach, it's like midnight. I'm coming to Arkansas." And the rest was history.
I had quite a few offers coming out of school. I can't remember my exact final 5, but I do remember Virginia. Oh, okay.
Indiana.
I was going to bring that up. I remember that one. But yeah, I know Arkansas, Indiana, Virginia. My mom said it was Arizona, UCLA. I can't recall or remember. But I started going to Coach Rich's basketball camps back in the 7th grade. I actually met Coach Richardson over in North Little Rock at a gas station. I don't know if you all heard the story, but I was like 12 years old and was walking in with my mom. I remember I lived in North Little Rock, so I'd walk in, get some food, and leave out. And right at the counter, there's Coach Williamson and Coach Scotty. And so he sees me walking in. You got to hear him tell the story. You know, he sees a kid, he's like a kid or big kid or whatever. He's like, "Sir, come over here." So that's kind of how I met him, and we introduced each other. I introduced him to my mom, excuse me. Then he invited me to basketball camp. So I went to a lot of these camps throughout the years. But during the recruiting process, I kind of had an idea I wanted to go to Indiana. And Bob and I came down to Russellville, Arkansas, and did an official in-house visit with him. And I was really tired of the recruiting process during the time. So it was just me and him sitting in this one four-corner room with one table, and he's sitting there talking to me. And some of you young kids might not know this, but you know, the older parents or whatever that's my age, a little bit older, you know Charlie Brown's teacher, right? So it started getting to that point that that's all I was hearing from him. So I couldn't wait to get out of that room. And as soon as I got home, I told my mom, like, "Look, I'm tired of this recruiting process. I'm going to Arkansas." So I picked up the phone, and that's when I called him over here and told him I was going to do it.
So you guys go through your recruiting process. You're watching late at night, up at night. Great job, Coach Miller. Tell me what it's like to get to Arkansas, Young Hill. What's it like playing for Coach Nolan Richards?
It depends on the day. No, I mean, it was challenging for sure. It was definitely rewarding because of the way we pushed it. And obviously, when you're a teenager, you don't really understand, all the ins and outs of what he's doing in mind games and conditioning and all the things that require you to have no toughness. And so, it was challenging, it was fun. Obviously, we had a lot of success. And, coaches are comedians. He's not just a coach, he's a comedian, a father, a mentor. And so for us, we enjoy the mentoring part. We didn't so much enjoy the being pushed part all the time. But we learned that, for us to be a good team, that's what it took. And so, he pushed us into not only being good players, but also trying to be, good, upstanding people. And so I've always appreciated that about him as far as, caring about the small stuff and not just about you as a basketball player.
I've never ran so much in my life. His favorite saying was fatigue make cowards out of it all. So just thinking about the conditioning Scotty talking about, the pace of our practice, physicality of our practice. Everybody's got a 3-minute lead, but we get there the first day and he's tossing out the medicine ball. Basketball is heavily filled with water. You got to get the 3-minute lead. So he had a lot of different innovative things that he did on the court with us to get us in great shape. So say I was in the best shape of my life in the country. Of course, like Scott was talking about the mentoring side of it. The father figure that once you leave home, go into another man that you can model your life after, not just the ones that you had just left at home. So to continue that part of our growth and showing the by having Coach Richardson as a role model and as a leader, that meant a lot.
I can imagine those practices. We're watching this on TV, watching it in the games. It's 40 minutes of hell. It wears you out watching. It's like tennis, left, right, running back and forth. I can't imagine those practices. I can't even fathom it. I don't want to fathom it. There was another guy on that staff, Mr. Mike Anderson. Can you tell me about your relationship with Mike Anderson and since being a player and after with Mike Anderson?
Well, obviously, I was fortunate to not only be recruited by Coach Anderson as a student athlete, but also to work with him as a coach. So got the opportunity to see a little bit of a different side. Obviously, being an assistant coach, the attitude is a little bit different, kind of a vessel for the staff, the team, so the kind of investment for the head guy. It's a little bit different. So I got the opportunity to see both those rounds. And, he can be very, very intense, a lot more intense than what people think, especially more so than he was as an assistant. But as a man, I think he's an A1 high character guy. I was very upset with the fact that he didn't get the opportunity to remain there, but at the same time, these business things happen. I'm very appreciative and had the opportunity to do it and did get the opportunity to do it.
Coach Ed was great. I mean, like I said, just going back into the recruiting process, coming up to Arkansas, I had a chance to sit down in August and talk to him. He was the lighter side of Coach Richardson. Coach Richardson was a hammer and he'll come back and smooth things out for you. But it was also rewarding and fun to watch his career path once he left Arkansas and went to UAB to Missouri and then back home to Arkansas. So got a lot of respect for Coach Anderson. He's always trying to stay in touch. Funny thing is, I didn't get to work with him. I worked against him when I was coaching at UCLA. You think your family, okay, he's not going to be too bad, but they beat us by 40 in the whole quarter. So I still got a whole lot of grudge against him. I hope he gets in the coaches again and have a chance to coach against him again.
I love it. He's waiting. Corliss is a competitor now. I promise you won't be like that. Speaking of competitor, this is random here, but like it tonight, right now, we cleared all those tables out. You guys went mano-a-mano, one-on-one. We'll have court basketball. Who wins that?
You know, we're both going to say The only problem with it right now is what we feel like after the game.
Is it really worth it?
Exactly.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, it was fun. Like, he may not say it right now, but we had a lot of one-on-one games. We had a lot of 5-on-5 games. Like, after we left Arkansas, like, we were all pursuing our careers professionally. But every time in the summer, we come back together and we play in either Little Rock Athletic Club or we find some pickup games to play. And, he likes to talk a little trash, right? He knows I hate it when I lose. So sometimes he don't even have to say anything. Just the way he would walk and just make me freeze. But no, seriously, so we've had a lot of games against one another, and it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome that you guys had that bond out. You guys actually like each other. I love this. That's awesome. You got fun.
As long as we're not competing.
That's what I'm saying. I may be wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all's first actual regular season basketball game, was that not against Penny Hardaway in Memphis State?
Correct.
And Penny was a big deal back then too, wasn't it?
It was a huge big deal. It was so big that I didn't get to play much because I played so bad.
Do y'all recall much else about that game, your very first game as freshman? And that was Barnhill, right? Because y'all were Barnhill Denver, right?
Yeah, it was Barnhill. National televised game. And probably about as nervous as I ever been in my life before. Went out there and played, not afraid, but was kind of nervous to play into the level. We got down 20 points. And the coach put Roger Crawford and some other guys in. I think it wasn't out of the game at that time. You heard it that time?
No, I heard it again.
Maybe you heard me in that game. So, we got down 20 and was fortunate enough to come back and win. So I just remember, feeling like I didn't play bad. But that was really my first experience having a bad game and still being so happy that we had won.
It was fun. All those guys were in Memphis. Like I said, AAU, we came up playing. Everyone knew each other. So playing against those guys and our teammates that were from Memphis, and there really been a lot of teams in that basketball.
Pride right there for sure. All right, so this is really unique. You guys are some of the very few to play at a high level of basketball at Barnhill Arena and Bud Arena. How do they compare to each other? Which one was louder? Which one was more fun to play in? Which one did you prefer to play in?
Our freshman year, Barnhill was extremely loud. The crowds were crazy. We beat Kentucky, we beat the University of Memphis. It was very loud. We didn't think it could be that, to be honest. And so we moved on to Bud Walton. No one really knew what to expect. You're playing in front of almost 10,000. I think Bud was like 9,800 or something. With the fire marshal allowed in. And so we moved to Bud Walton. We're thinking, we're going to get probably 12,000, 13,000 players. And then the first game, we get 20,000. And to get 20,000, it just sounds like a bigger, better version of Barnhill, basically.
How you doing?
Yeah, and then playing in Barnhill too, I just think about the tradition of Barnhill. All the big games over there. I remember being recruited in high school, coming to watch Arkansas play against UNLV. Back when we had Larry Johnson and those guys. So just thinking about tradition, having that opportunity to play in that building meant a lot to me. Being a kid from Arkansas, and then also for us to start our own legacy and our own legend, moving to Bud Walton. I thought that was really big for us to have an opportunity to do that.
Talk about these big games. Y'all play some, even y'all his freshman year. I mean, I've been to some really big games, some Arizonas, some Kentuckys. Tell me about the Arkansas-Kentucky rivalry back in those mid-90s. You guys coming to the SEC, obviously. And on the back of that, Coach Cal. You're at Arkansas now. Have y'all spoke to Coach Cal or reached out or vice versa?
The games against Kentucky, they were fun. Just think about all the talented players that came from Kentucky, as well as the talent we had in Arkansas. I was happy when Jamal Masters graduated. Great as a person to guard, but we always had some great games. We always beat them in the regular season, and then we ended up losing to the SEC tournament. But just that rivalry there was great, especially going 2-up and getting there. That was really great for us as a team and as an organization, as a school. And as far as Coach Cal, I've talked to Coach Cal, and I'm excited, where Arkansas basketball is headed. Of course, when I first heard it, it's kind of hard for me to flip my mind. Like, I'm so used to going against him. I still hold that game against him when we played against him. He was coaching the UMass when they beat us in the national championship. But no, I'm excited and anxious to see what's going to happen.
I mean, the Arkansas-Kentucky rivalry, especially when you think about it, we kicked off Super Bowl Sunday twice, if I'm not mistaken. And so to be the kickoff of the Super Bowl, I think that says a lot about what both programs were. And so for me, that was a huge deal to get the opportunity. All your fans are going to be watching, all your friends are going to be watching, pretty much everyone in the country. As far as Coach Cal, I've not heard from Coach Cal. I got a chance to see him briefly, I think, at USA Basketball training camp, but we've not spoken. But I am excited about him being there. I'm very, very hopeful that we can get back to the national championship with Corliss and I. Check out here. It's been quite some time since we've made it there. And, obviously, Coach Musselman, whether you like it or not, they had a ton of success with it there. Elite 8s, 216s, and that's not easy. I think us as fans now, we realize that. Even for us as players, we're so used to going to the Elite 8, going to the Final Four, we just kind of expect it until you don't make it. And so, I'm anxious to see if we can just keep it going, keep the trajectory going, and hope that opportunity to win the whole thing again.
Coach Cal! Russell Rifle on the phone. Take me through y'all's 94-95 season. Obviously, you went in there with some expectations. Did y'all feel like y'all were the team that beat pre-season? Take me through some of the ups and downs, and then obviously climax of all that.
Fortunately for us that season, there weren't any downs. We were 31-3 on the season. But that year kind of happened before we got to that point. The year our freshman year, we lost to the Sweet 16 in North Carolina, and we felt like we were just a couple of players away from being able to be the national champions then. And so we didn't have the size. I think they had Kevin Salvador, who was a 7-footer in Carolina. They had George Lynch, who looked like a grown man at the time. Eric Montross, and so those guys were used. We just could not box them out. It still came down to like a one-possession game. We get beat on the back door, and the rest was history from there. So coming back that next year, we kind of looked at Coach Wilson and we were like, hey, we can get some size. I think we'll have a chance to compete for a national championship. And that was one of the big things about Coach Wilson as a coach. He actually listened to us. Even during the game, he would ask for suggestions. Hey, what's defense you got? What do you think we need to be in? So, we said get those big guys. When I signed Darnell Robinson, when I signed Lee Wilson. And so coming into that season, which, as you mentioned earlier, was the same season we beat Missouri by 50.
By 50! Where's she at?
That just kind of, kicked off our season what we thought we were good enough to accomplish already.
You don't be in trouble.
Shop out back and be sleeping tonight.
Yeah, but I started saying, once we got those two big freshmen, and we started playing pickup in the summer, and preseason started playing more pickup games, you could just sense that there was something special about that season. Everyone's mindset, the way we came back focused, when the young guys were picking up things, we just felt like this was going to be a special year for us. I think we just lose with the games. I think we just lose with the games, but just having that feeling early on, and then just going through the process of every game, and just find ways to win. Just doing some amazing things from first game against, you know, until the last time we played Duke. I mean, that was, you know, that was pretty awesome. Put the icing on the cake to play against Duke. It was in the 90s. They were always the team to beat. No one thought we could ever have a chance to beat them. So to come out of that game on top as national champions, that was fun.
Actually, that was like, yeah, he did. Scotty, do you ever go like a day without anybody bringing up a shot? Did you buy a day?
Not many. But it could be worse.
It could be worse. So I'll just ask you a question. All everyone had asked, and you kind of take us through the shot. The original wasn't it? That was really good.
Not really. But no, I do get asked that question a lot. You know, the one thing I always tell people, you know, if you think about it, you grew up, I'm sure you guys that played the game or have aspirations to play, you grew up and emulate so many players, you know, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take the shot. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you miss it. So as a kid growing up in Russell, Louisiana, I emulated, you know, every player that you could probably think of that's taking the last second, you know, wasn't really shot, so to be in that position at that time was, you know, somewhat surreal, but it was also like I acted out before. And so, you know, going back to that play, you know, I remember us calling a timeout, and really the ball was supposed to go to this guy. But Corey came on the side of the floor, the left side of the floor in front of our bench. He couldn't get it in because I remember correctly, Corliss had someone in front of him, he had Grant Hill behind him, and so they weren't going to let him get the basketball. And so I kind of surveyed the floor and went on the opposite block. I saw Corey throw it out to the right, and as he's throwing it to the right, I see the shot clock, and I'm like, man, this thing basically me, I'm going to have to shoot it. And so the white fumbled the basketball, obviously, when he passed on to me, which most people would probably rush to take that shot, and the rest was he didn't. And so I'm always grateful to Coach Wilson for having this kind of calm in that moment, because he always would talk about being willing to share, being willing to give of yourself, and not everybody wants to be the hero, just being a team game. And so the white ball, you know, I popped out, caught the basketball, and Antonio Lane lost me for that brief second, and I was able to get the shot.
Big moment I have. Big moment I was going to We're not worried. Oh no, you're next, buddy. I want to tell I can now officially check this off. I have shook hands with someone who's been on the cover of Sports Illustrated. How about that? Big time. Big time. Big time on the cover. What was that like? How'd you find that out? That's kind of a neat deal, right?
That was awesome. You know, like I said, man, a kid from Russellville, Arkansas, never in my life did I ever think I'd be on Sports Illustrated. And, you know, to be on there, and, you know, I think I signed a couple today. You know, it's something that it's going to always be there. You know, and it was a great honor. I think I made a shot. It's actually, I think my first shot of the game was here in Parks. We tried to take a charge. If you look in the picture, it looks like I got a lot of hand time. I was barely like this far.
That's a good cameraman right there.
It made it look good. But no, that was awesome.
That is awesome. Speaking of awesome, I want both of you on this because obviously it worked out really well. You want to but take me through the 95 draft and that process, and maybe some stuff that people don't understand about what went on here, and y'all's personal, path to that draft or to that draft.
Yeah, for me, the draft process was kind of cloak and dagger. And what I mean by that is, my last year in Arkansas, I had back issues. And we kind of kicked it apart or whatever. So when the season was over and I was going through the draft process, I was doing therapy for my back. And so I set up in these hotel rooms before I had to go work out for a team. The skin units or whatever, I'd be in a hotel room, hooked up to these electrodes and stuff, trying to help me with pain or whatever with my back. And then I had to go out here and do these workouts. So I wasn't at my best at the time. I kind of slipped in the draft some, which that's just part of it. But to be able to go through that process and still be drafted, that that meant a lot to me to win the world team because I knew I still had a chance to play this game. I ended up having back surgery before my rookie season. And I was fortunately I was able to rehab and go on and have the career I had today. But the process was just, it was tough, but it was rewarding and very good. I was finally able to do it.
He's being humble. If y'all remember, I think it was, he fell to, what, 12, 13 or something like that. Round 1 NBA draft, and he fell to 13. That's awesome. That's awesome. 13. Scotty, take us through you.
Well, he fell to 13, I fell out. But no, our situation was similar in the sense because to be honest, I didn't have any intention of really leaving early. It just kind of happened that way in terms of, my situation, having a son on the way, and realized that I had to be able to try to earn for him. I came really humble beginnings, and so I didn't expect to put that burden on my parents. And so I just understood the business side of it, not just being a good player, but having the right representation, and people who can get in the right room to be able to ask the right questions for the right things to happen. So for me, it didn't happen that way, but I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to go and play in Europe, off and on for 11 years, and so I got the opportunity to live about, you can't brag about this, but about a mile from the Mediterranean Sea. And so, my experiences with the game of basketball is completely different, but for me, I don't know if I had not gone that route, I would be the person that I am now. So I'm really appreciative of the route that I went, although at the time in 95,
And take me through your professional career after that. Because obviously you're going overseas, it's a whole new world for you. I think you had some good stuff. I think you're an all-star in one of the leagues one year. Tell me about that. What was it like playing overseas so far from home?
Well, it was good the last 10 years. The first year was challenging. The first year I had 2 teammates who spoke English. One spoke regular English like we speak it. The other one learned how to speak English from part-time. And so his English was, as you can imagine, very broken. We only had 3 American channels. One was Bloomberg NBC, CNBC, I should say, and the other 2 were channels that came on at 7 o'clock at night, so that's how I watched my American team. However, I did have I wouldn't call it a blockbuster, but I had a movie rental place that I could go to. And I could rent movies. By the time I got home, I think I was like 6 months ahead of everyone here, seeing all the movies, so that was something to brag about. And then I had a barber who cut my hair that didn't speak any English. And he was probably the best barber I've ever had. So he learned how to cut my hair off of the pictures that I showed him. And so we became pretty good friends. But that experience for me was very different because I got the opportunity to kind of learn about other cultures and other people. I was at one point pretty good in several different languages, but as you don't get the opportunity to practice them, you kind of lose it. So there's certain languages that I can understand, I just don't want to speak.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool story, actually. That's really good. Y'all are up here, y'all see Corliss, and you see he's just a soft teddy bear, just a sweet, sweet guy. Yeah, sweet. But I recall watching some video on maybe 02, 03, I think you were the Pistons, and I think you had got the baseline going up, and then the guy named Jermaine O'Neal might kind of ran, yeah. What did you do after that?
I don't know.
Staying over here. What was going through your head? Take us.
So I'll tell you like this. So like Big Nasty was the nickname that I had on the court. Like I told you earlier, my cousin wanted to play that way. For some reason, I kind of took on that personality on the court. Kind of had a little temper at times when I was a little bit younger. So what happened was I had a really good game against India. And their head coach was Isaiah Thomas at the time, one of the original bad boys from Detroit. So you know how physical they were. And I remember Reggie Miller telling me once that, hey, you need to watch out. This coach told somebody to take you out and hit you. I'm like, why? He was like, you dunked on us like 2 or 3 times already. So the next time I got the basketball, I faced up and I drove basically like you said, and I went up for a dunk. And so Jermaine O'Neal comes from the other side. And doesn't even make a play on the ball, he tries to take me out of the air. thank God, you know, I'm 255, whatever it was at the time, I took the hit and came down. And I had the ball in my hand. And I turned and I threw the ball and hit him in his head.
Right in the head.
Right in the head, so he gets mad, you know, teammates, referees, all come running in trying to do between us. And so he's mad, he's trying to throw my teammates out of the way, he's swinging, hitting on them, and I'm just sitting there looking. And so I already knew the official would kick us out, so I walked off. You know, the NBA called, and you know, anytime there's an incident, they're going to always call you and they're going to ask them what happened. And then they'll give you the suspension or the fine or whatever. So they were like, so what happened? I said, so yeah, I wanted to dunk the ball, and he didn't make a play on the ball, and then I reared back the ball and it slipped out of my hand.
Did you really tell him that?
I did. I did. So I think I was only suspended maybe one game instead of three. He got like three.
He did. Yeah. He got 3 games.
He got 3 games. I think he only got like
Fined
one.
too, right?
He got fined too, yeah. We both got fined, but my suspension was less than his, so I kind of got away with that one.
So you fast forward a couple years later, and just a horrible event, but the Malice and the Palace was between those two teams. I think Corliss started the beef.
It started there. Trust me, that beef was going on. It started then. Coach Carlisle, who was coaching Indiana after that, was our coach in Detroit for 2 years. So yeah, that whole mess was brewing for a long time.
All right, that was the bad moment. Let's talk about some good moments. It's pretty good. This guy was also in the NBA Finals as well. And matter of fact, the team, I believe you're playing the Lakers that year. If I'm not mistaken, that was the year, I could be wrong, correct me. Had Gary Payton, Karl Malone, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. And you guys dominated. Did you know?
Yes, it's called a gentleman's sweep, 5 games. That was, when I talk about the team that we had in Arkansas, we thought what it was going to be like at the very beginning of the season. It didn't happen like that in Detroit. But the makeup of that team, by the time we hit All-Star break, after they made some trades, we had the same type of guys in that locker room that we had at the University of Arkansas. Selfless guys who wanted to play defense, who would sacrifice and do whatever it took to win the game or to win the championship. So just watching our team, we hung our hat on defense. We set some records as far as holding teams under, I think it was 70 points, something like that. But just watching that team grow and grow and grow throughout the playoff series. Our toughest one was against Indiana, of course. But we were able to get past them and get to play the Lakers, and they were dominant during that time. But for us, we had played them early in the season. We felt like we had that matchup against that team. We went out and we were ready to do it.
How about that? NBA champion, NCAA champion, yeah. Scotty, I want to know. So, obviously, coaching at Parkview now, you coach high school, but you also college as well, at Arkansas. What's the big difference between coaching high school and coaching college kids?
Well, I know there's, I guess, age gap, there's a different age in college, especially now. You got guys that are going to first school, which we talk about, are sitting out in red shirt, whereas in high school, where I'm at Parkview, we get 9th through 12th graders, so I may have a 14-year-old versus having an 18-year-old start up in college. So it's different in that aspect. I think the expectations are different because now there's so much social media, and so kids are reading social media, and sometimes they don't really know what's real and what's not. And so we spend a lot of time trying to educate them to understand that, number one, you got to make sure that your profile is one that would be fitting in terms of someone wanting to recruit you, but then the other part is knowing what they're looking at and what you're real or not. And so that's a tough task because, by the time the young man leaves from practice or from school and gets in the car, someone else may have another idea of what it's actually supposed to look like. And so we battle just trying to stay focused on today and not looking so far down the road. And it's kind of similar with college. I mean, you got guys that are anxious to leave and not really focused on where they are. And so we just try to get them focused, on what's important. Number one is schoolwork, being respectful, and trying to put yourself in a position to be a recruited athlete, not just expected for it to happen because you start running into it, posting off, and it may not even be real. And so we try to be able to decipher what's real and what's not. But it's definitely different. But in some cases, it's the same. It's just such a matter different because of age.
That's really interesting to me, obviously, social media now, being involved with that. Obviously, that wasn't something y'all had to deal with back in those. So, Corliss, for you, obviously, you stayed at college at Minnesota Timberwolves in India. What's the difference between college and India as far as being a coach? Well, is it a huge difference, or is it just kind of minimal stuff?
There is a huge difference. In the NBA, once you're done with practice, you don't have to worry about it anymore. You know, they go home, they have their families and that, but when I was in college, there was some sleepless nights. I coached college because, like I said, you coach them in practice and then your day's not over. You still sometimes you worry about getting a phone call in the middle of the night, making sure the kid's not doing what you're supposed to do. So in that sense, that was the difference between college and the pros, is that you separate those two, and the pros and grown men. How you approach them is different because it's a players' league that gets to the NBA. Most of the time, the players are the ones that, I don't want to say they run the team, but you got to make sure they're happy. Whereas in college, you can get on to somebody really bad.
Are you saying no Richardson wasn't made for him?
Oh,
Not today.
not today. Not today's NBA. Now, back when I played, those were really tough NBA coaches, but, you know, we all change with the times, right? We all change and we know how to do things better in a different way, get people's attention in a different way. I'll tell you what, the group I'm with now in Minnesota, it's one of the best groups I've ever been with as far as a coach. Our guys, we can coach them hard and they'll respond. They won't just resist, they'll respond. So that's been a blessing for me as a coach, especially coming back to the NBA now. I work with some really tough guys, some tough characters as far as coaching wise, but this group I'm with now, I really love it, and I think we have an opportunity to do something special.
I think you've already done something special. You guys made really far in the NBA playoffs in the Minnesota Timberwolves this year. That's pretty cool stuff, man. It really is. You have to go back home. Did you not? Parkview and Ruston? Did I see that? What was that like? Did you get a warm ovation?
But we lost, so it wasn't their fault. We played them 2 years ago at Parkview. We beat them, and we went there this year. So yeah, it was great to see, a lot of my former teachers, administrators that, when I grew up there, that were still out of living in the area, but still working, in the school system. So that was good. The loss wasn't so good, but it's always good to go back home and get opportunities to meet people you haven't seen in a while.
Amen to that. Speaking of people here, we're going to open it up now. You have to know I'm going to wait past the time, guys. I apologize. We're going to open it up for questions from the audience. But we're going to allow it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get down. You guys are so good. We're going to have y'all raise hands, and what we'll do is I'll essentially bring a mic out to you. I might have to get another help. I'll get another mic. Just raise your hand. I'll bring it to you. You can ask your question. If I can get down. Oh. All right. Does he need the question? Oh. We have 3 questions here. This is a very busy table. I'm going to start with you. All right. I'm going to do those.
I'm not a huge fan of the transfer portal, but I do understand, kind of why they say the players and the coaches do the right to leave, whatever it is, find a different situation for them. Used to be, the old rule was, kids wanted to leave, they had to get clearance from the coach, current coach, and the coaches started, trying to dictate what kids could and couldn't go. So, on one hand, I like it, on the other hand, I'm not a big fan of it because kids don't really have to face the person they're leaving. They have a conversation or be able to explain what it is that we would like to see change. So I think because the program can't hurt the kid because now they're always looking for something, the next thing person, fighting against the person. So that's what I'm a huge fan. In terms of the pay to play, I'm not against NIL. I just think it needs to come with more structure and responsibility.
Oh, I mean, he said it. I'm not a fan of church court board leader. You know, and I think that and the NIL, those two combined, make for a bad mix. I'm for NILs, but, you know, just the transfer, because I can go make more money here, I think that's best for college basketball right now. And, you know, like Scotty was saying, you know, they have to find a way to manage it, you know, to make it better where there's a little more structure to it and calm down some of the chaos.
All right, guys, that's really good. I'm going to tell 2 more questions. So y'all, okay, let's play us. We still okay with that? You go ahead. You ready?
Do you have to use the greatest basketball player ever?
Great
We
stuff.
should go. You like LeBron, don't you? I'll tell you what, we're big LeBron fans in my house. I grew up watching Michael Jordan, so it's kind of A and B for me. But if you were to say greatest all-around player, I would say LeBron James, but just the greatest ever. I'm sorry, I should have to give it to Mike.
All right, we got one way back here. RJ Martin. It's not beautiful here yet. I'm kind of it's going to take a while. Ain't like back in the day. Although this feels like a 48 sweep or a trap right here. There's people everywhere. All right. I'm going to hand it off to you, I trust you.
40 minutes of hell. Can you tell us what it was like to prepare and practice with Holland Richardson's coaching during your games? Was it the most difficult challenges that you had to go through with, you know, learning how to keep that upbeat rhythm and really, you know, staying on the team?
Well, the most difficult challenge of it for us was just getting through the practice. You know, the first 40 minutes of practice were the challenge. I think that's kind of where the misconception comes from. People think it's the 40 minutes of the game, it's actually the first 40 minutes of practice, where we would probably not even touch the ball very much before we actually started the game and practice. And so for us, we always felt like for all the running, all of the nice words that Coach said to us, we had to take that out on other teams. And so it was kind of fuel to the fire.
Yeah, they were tough practices. They were competitive practices too. Like if you see how bad he hand checked the other team during the game, the officials out there, you should see how many minutes each other in practice. There were some rough days. You know, I remember catching the ball at the top of the key one time, and I think it was Corey and Clinton again were trying to take the ball from him. They slapped, scratched, pinched, did everything they could, and finally I just dropped the ball. So hold on, Coach, time out. I can't take no more.
That's awesome stuff. Guys, let's give a huge applause, warm welcome one time. For our two guest speakers tonight. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Arkansas ladies, definitely coming from around Washington, but truly, Now, I promised my brother Terry Sandy that we would not leave without doing a hog call. He's not here to lead us, but we're going to do it, guys. Are y'all ready? Here we go. I'll start it off. Thank you guys so much. Be safe. Good night. And God bless you.